So the other day I posted a video where I tried to sort of dissect what actual Pixel Fold users thought about their Pixel Fold and how does that compare with the general broader perception of that device. And I think that we came to some interesting results, namely that people that didn't own the device thought it looked okay, but the people who owned it actually seemed to like it a lot more than the conversation surrounding the device might have led you to believe. With the OnePlus Open, the conversations have been very, very different. This device has been roundly praised, where the Pixel Fold was awarded Bust of the Year by several different individuals. The OnePlus Open has been awarded as one of the best phones of the year, maybe the best foldable of the year by some of those very same people. So I thought it would be interesting to do the exact same thing here and try to find out people that don't own it, what is the perception? What do they think about it? People that do own it, what is their actual experience? How do these compare and contrast? So let's start off by looking at the poll that I ran 5 days ago. Let's gather some data on the OnePlus Open. I said this is for people who did not buy the device. So these are outside looking in perspectives. And I asked people to rate their perception of the OnePlus Open from 1 to 5, 5 meaning it looks like the most amazing phone ever, and 1 meaning it looks essentially unusable. 436 votes later, here are the results. And I think that they're fairly interesting. And this kind of is about what I would expect. People feel like the device looks pretty darn good. A 4 out of 5, and that's near perfection. That wins the poll. Really, really impressive results. But let's go a bit deeper. Let's actually dig into the various comments that we have here as well. And while I will have all of these on screen as we go through them, probably not going to read all of them. We're going to kind of pick and choose the bigger, broader points. You're going to see similar sort of trends through these. People seem like they were very, very impressed with the specifications of the device. It seemed like the perfect phone, although this person saw some bad reports about customer service, and that might have put them off. How about a wider cover screen than the Z Fold? Minimal crease, really, really high-end specs, but concern about warranty and repairs, similar kind of things, as well as the software. Here's another person that says that they appreciate the wider form factor. You're going to hear that a lot when you're seeing people that are maybe Z Fold users and they go to the OnePlus Open. They're just pleased that it's wider than the Z Fold. And it sort of carries on like that, right? With the main things being it looks like it's got great specifications. The form factor looks really, really optimized. It's sort of a best of all worlds type situation, comparing like the Z Fold, the Pixel Fold. OnePlus Open's right in the middle, which is something that we talked about before the device was unveiled when it was just in rumors. I was saying those exact sorts of things, but people are a bit concerned about, one, it's a foldable screen that still puts some people off, and the fact that they don't know how good OnePlus's warranty and customer service stuff is when compared to bigger brands in America like Samsung, Google, etc., etc. But overall, again, to go back to this, very, very positive. Now let's compare this to the poll for people who actually own the device. And the results for this were very, very surprising to me. People who owned the device, same rubric, 1 to 5, 5 being best phone you've ever used, and 1 being essentially unusable, which I guess technically that's not the same rubric. I kind of messed this up a little bit. Best phone you've ever used, most amazing phone ever. Those are slightly different wordings. My mistake. I probably messed that up a little bit. But you can see here, really, really like stellar results. Tons of people, almost half the people either thought this was the best phone they've ever used, or it was one notch below that, and effectively nobody was having a bad time with the OnePlus Open. Really, really impressive. And if we go through these comments, it's kind of a similar affair here. We have certain answers that kind of percolate to the top. Jason here says they've owned it for a couple of months. The best overall phone they think they've ever used. They've enjoyed the Z Folds, but again, that cover display was a problem. The Open, they can use all day long, fold it and open it when they have a reason to. you're going to see this sort of thing a lot. The screens and cameras are the best that they've used. I don't know if I mean that on a foldable or just in general. That would be very impressive. Best outer screen ratio because all apps fit perfectly. There's that same comment again. Over and over, you're going to see people praising the form factor as being sort of a best of both worlds. Like I talked about earlier, they're going to love the performance of the device. Just the hardware is off the charts. Some people did not like the giant camera bump in the back, but the primary concerns people have with it, the problems that they have with it, which there are a few, tend to be with polish, and they are talking about the software in particular, and this is definitely a fair criticism. It's something that I've had some small issues with as well. Lack of wireless charging, also customer service support, so some similar things to the people who didn't own the device. They seem like they did get some of it right, but by and large, the people that did own it were, in terms of the voting, more positive than the people who didn't own it. And I want to kind of underline something that we talked about in the same video for the Pixel Fold. Comments versus poll results. This is where things get really, really confusing. When we're on the internet and we're reading the discourse about a device, the discourse almost always will skew more negative than if you actually ran a poll. If you just read these comments, and I scrolled through all of them, you could pause at any moment and you could read any of these comments, and you would probably get an impression that was not going to line up with how the poll actually shook out. You would probably assumed 3s and 4s, at least I would have based on these comments. And like I mentioned in the Pixel Fold video, this is a psychological thing with human beings. We tend to give more attention to the negatives, right? The people who are having a good time, the people who love this device have less to say about it. They're going to click on 4 or 5 and move on without leaving a comment. That's just how human beings work. And that's part of why I've done these videos, because I want people to understand that that is the case. You can't just read the comments and get an idea of what is actually going on, because the people that aren't having problems likely have nothing to say. Now, I do want to kind of add one more bit of comparison here. So if we go back to the poll results for people who owned the OnePlus Open, 135 votes, 4s and 5s being the clear winners, and we compare that to the same poll with the Pixel Fold, 252 votes, 3s and 4s are the winner there. So it does seem as though between these two wonderful foldables, even though I lean towards the Pixel Fold, it seems as though the OnePlus Open users are in fact enjoying themselves maybe a bit more than the Pixel Fold users. I find that to be very, very interesting, and I wish that there had been more depth to the comments there. But again, when we're talking about people that are enjoying themselves, they have less to say. In general, it's that negative confirmation bias where we're just primed to focus on the negatives more as human beings. So really all I can do is point out those results, and maybe you can speculate in the comments down below as to what it is. Maybe you own both and you can tell me why maybe you prefer one over the other, which would be very interesting to read as well. But guys, that's what I've got for you on this one. What do OnePlus Open users actually think about the OnePlus Open? They seem to really, really like it. And in fact, the majority of people that voted think it's the best phone they've ever used. An incredible accomplishment for OnePlus with the first foldable that they have released in North America. I know it's not really a first-gen device. Oppo Find In 2. But you know what I mean. A really impressive accomplishment. I can't wait for a OnePlus Open 2 to see what they could possibly improve on this device. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.